Now it's time to install jQuery using Typings. So in the guide, it has Typings going global, but we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do npm install Typings into our local project. So of course, our local project is where all of our code has been so far. It's where we've been really working so far. So as it's installing that, notice it did install it. If we look in package, I don't see any updates to my package, right? So it doesn't actually show that that is in there. Let's recircle back to that in a little bit, but let's go back into the guide. And we also want to add in Typings install dt jQuery. So I'm going to go ahead and run that as well. So we're grabbing Typings to install it. So attempted to do it as an external model, but you need to enable global option to do it. So let's go ahead and just do -G. Still not working. So let's bring Typings back as a global module. And we might have to sudo it in actually. So let's just sudo Typings on this side. Okay, so as that's loading, I'm going to go back and copy this with the global module installed. So the entire thing there, Typings install dt global save, looks like it worked with just jQuery, and then we'll just run Typings install, and there we go. So it actually installed the necessary Typings, and now we're going to add in tsconfig. If we look into our project, we see that there's Typings in here now, globals, jQuery, and there's jQuery. So back into our tsconfig, we will just add Typings / in here. So there we go. So we now have Typings in there, and now we can use jQuery in our apps. So if we go into main, we'll do import. Well, let's actually take a look at this. We see import star as from jQuery. So I'm going to copy that, and we'll just bring that in. So we're importing everything as the $, like what jQuery does, as jQuery. So we come back in here, and now what I want to do is just add something like set coffee type. We'll use $body, and we'll do background color, or sorry, not background color, but CSS background -color, and we'll use red. We save that, refresh in here. Up, we don't have anything running, so let's do npm run webpack or run main, and then npm run server. And I'm getting can't resolve jQuery in here. Okay, so that means that the jQuery model was not installed correctly. So let's go back in, and we will once again install jQuery with Typings. And it's possible that we didn't save this, so let's make sure we save that. That's saved. Okay, so that's not working correctly. So let's go back to the installs that we have up here, and instead of installing a jQuery globally, I'm going to install it locally, or just we can do npm link jQuery. And let's try that again. Now it's working fine, or it looks like it is. Yep, it's working fine. I refresh in here, and boom, there, it's red. So we can actually use jQuery now too. So I can also add, body HTML, and I'll do h1 plus this .coffee type, or this .coffee type plus the closing h1 tag. Save that, refresh, and what do you know? So jQuery is now working. So why is it that all of my dependencies aren't necessarily showing up here, right? So like Typings and jQuery. Well, if I do npm install jQuery -save, what that does is it installs it, but using -save will add it here. So that's where you can just come back and basically reinstall them if you want. Or Typings is another one we need to add. I think it was just Typings, so let's look back. So scrolling down, we've got Typings, yep. And that should have added, and it did. So that's where our dependencies actually come in. So this guide will most likely be updated to have -save, just so we definitely have them on our JSON, in our package.js. but that dash dash save is important for local development, right? So this local project is the important part for this. When you're using your just general projects, this is not going to be the case. So that's where these being globally installed on your computer don't just generate a package.json. It's when you do it like we just did. When you do that inside of a folder that has npm in it with that package.json, that will actually add it in for you. So what if we did that? Let's go ahead and just go into a desktop, and we'll just make a dir called delete, and we'll cd into it. And I'll just do npm install Typescript -- save, press enter. It installs Typescript on there. And if we open it up, there's no like module or no actual package.json. So like it says here, so it's not going to add it to it, but it will still install it. It's just one other step that is something to note. Okay, so that's it for installing jQuery. I mean, like, if you know jQuery, then you can use it. I don't think that long term you'll be using jQuery a whole lot with TypeScript, but I did want to show you that you absolutely can and should use jQuery if you're super familiar with it. But now that you use it in TypeScript, there's one other thing that I wanted to just add to this, and that is making sure we have jQuery installed locally as well. But the main thing here is that jQuery is something you're going to want to move away from eventually. So when we actually compile jQuery into our code, so if I run it, run main, and I look into bundle, it is minified, but what you will see is, hey, look at here, jQuery.com is right there. So jQuery is actually minified inside of this. So you're not going to link it elsewhere. So all of that stuff is in that one bundle.js, which is also really cool, but you wouldn't have jQuery also on here, which is true about Bootstrap. It's true about a lot of other things, is you wouldn't necessarily have those inside of that bundle.js because of TypeScript being the way that it is. Now, Taipings, there are other things for it. So you do npm Taipings. You might find a lot of other packages for Taipings itself. So if there are other things that might not be supported by npm itself, Taipings might actually have it. All right, well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.